Welcome to the What Matters Marketing Show, hosted by Kim Skilton. This is your place to be inspired, to learn, and to build the business of your dreams with actionable marketing tools, tips, and resources. Kim Skilton is an award-winning marketer who has worked with some of the world's biggest brands. With more than 20 years of industry experience, Kim knows firsthand what it takes to build a business from the ground up. If you love to learn and are ready to take action, you're in the right place. Click follow so you don't miss an episode. Now let's get into the show.
Welcome to the What Matters Marketing podcast. And if you're new here, thank you for listening in. In today's show, we're going to review reviews and the power that they have to drive huge success for your business, and also the power that they have to kill your business. So in today's episode, I'm going to cover the latest research findings by local SEO experts Bright Local. We're going to have a look at 3 components that make up an effective customer review program, including how to confidently deal with negative reviews. And if you listen to the end, I'll let you know where you can go to get a free email template to make it super easy for you to start collecting customer reviews for your business. Let me start with this question. Are you using reviews to help promote your business and build trust with your potential customers? As a business owner or marketer, we always want to be putting ourselves in the shoes of our ideal customer. So if you think about the last time you wanted to buy something from a business that you hadn't used before, did you happen to look at customer reviews before deciding which business that you would actually buy from? And I'm guessing that your answer is likely to be a resounding yes. Research undertaken by Bright Local found that 91% of 18 to 34-year-olds trust online reviews as much as personal recommendation. And 93% of consumers say that online reviews influence their purchase decisions. And 77% of consumers use at least 2 review platforms in their business research. So if those statistics don't convince you that reviews are important for the success of your business, then I don't know what will. Now, I just wanted to also share with you some further findings that came out of that research. And the first being that the top 4 review sites were found to be 81% using Google. Probably no great surprise there. It has dropped marginally from the prior year, but it's still the number 1 research platform for reviews. And then coming in behind that was Facebook at 45%, Yelp at 44%, and TripAdvisor at 21%. And obviously TripAdvisor is very much skewed to hotels and touring experiences, etc. So if you think about, if you happen to be in that industry, travel tourism industry, if you think about the significance of that, if they are claiming 21% and they focus on that particular industry, that's huge. Now, also in addition to those sites, consumers used other sources of, other tools, resources and sites for other business information and reviews. And these included local news coming in at 43%, and this could be both digital and those more traditional forms, so being, radio, print, TV. It doesn't actually break that down. It just has 43% as local news. 34% used Instagram, 32% YouTube, and 23% TikTok. I also just wanted to note too that while Google saw a decrease year on year, so a marginal decrease as mentioned, it's still by far the most used platform for seeking reviews. Now, some of this, what I call stickiness, may be attributed to the enhancements that they continue to make with what was called Google My Business, but is now called Google Business Profile. So it's done things like, if I talk specifically, say, to the hotel or tourism sector, where they've added some really critical features such as you can now compare pricing. So you'll see when you look up a particular hotel in that Google business listing, it will not only show the hotel's price, it will also show other what they call OTAs, online travel agents or booking platforms. So you've got a comparison. So as a consumer, you're being told from a price perspective where would be the best place to go. It also has booking availability and business facilities within those, or just general facilities within those properties are now covered. So that's just one example of what Google's doing for that particular industry, but you'll find that those Google business profile listings are getting enhanced all the time. So it does pay as a business owner, if you don't already have one, to set one up, but also to keep checking back in to see what additional features it's offering that you should be taking advantage of for your business. Now, this research did also find that Apple Maps and Trustpilot have seen an increase in use. With the Apple Maps, this is being attributed to probably, some better, more appealing features, and that's just making for a better user experience. Whereas Trustpilot's growth is being put down to having more verified reviews. So it's not just any old person writing a review. These reviews are verified and people are confident that they're not fake reviews. So essentially they're being considered as more trustworthy reviews. So something to consider in this crazy world in which we live in. People are wanting to have some confidence about the reviews that are there for different businesses. And another finding I read in there, which I found was interesting, is there was more value attributed to a review, and it had a person's name from the company that's replying or responding to the review. So if you can personalize it like that, I think it's important. So in essence, not only are reviews now an integral part of the customer purchasing decision, and of having an effective customer review program will also help your business stand out online in what is really quite typically a sea of sameness and a sea of competitors. So customer reviews will give your potential customer the confidence to buy from your business, especially if you're brand new to them. Now, next, we're going to have a look at how you can create an effective customer review program. And if you have one already, I still encourage you to listen in, because you might hear some additional tips that you may not be doing or you may not have thought of as yet. So when we're looking at creating a customer review program, there's 3 key components that make up that program. 1 is collection, 2 is management, and 3 is promotion of the program. So let's step into each of those in a bit more detail. Starting with collection. Collection is the actual collection of the reviews, and there's a few options for you to consider when you think, well, where would I like to collect my reviews from? So as an example, it could be Facebook, it could be Yelp, it could be a website like Product Reviews, or as we've already covered, TripAdvisor, Amazon, Google, the App Store. So the product or service that you offer is very much going to influence which channels are more appropriate for you to collect reviews from for your business. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are a hotelier, then you're very likely to want to have a presence and be driving reviews to somewhere like TripAdvisor, but you might also want to look at Google. And if something to consider as well is if you are worried about the time it's going to take to manage multiple channels, there are tools such as Podium that can facilitate multi-channel collection and management of your reviews. So not only will they funnel them into the one tool, you can then respond and manage those reviews from within that one tool as well. I know a client, I was doing some work for a local small business. They started using Podium and they managed to generate almost 900 reviews within an 18-month period. And that was by systemizing it and integrating it into their overall customer journey. And they've also won actually a couple of awards as a result of that. So how do you ask your customer for reviews? First of all, remember, everyone is busy. Even if they've had the most incredible experience, everyone is busy. So we need to make it super easy for customers to make a review or to provide a review. The best way to approach this, I think, is you need to consider your customer's journey and identify at which point would be the best time to ask for a review. And if you can, ideally, you want to make this automated so that you can set a process in place, making it easy for you as the business owner or the marketer, and then making it easy for your staff as well if they're involved in that process. And then hopefully by automating that, you can enjoy watching those reviews come in, and then it's a matter of responding to them as required. So for example, if you're an online retailer, you can automate an email to be sent once sufficient time has passed for the customer, in the sense of they've now, you've allowed for shipping time. They would have received their product. So if you have a 3 to 7 day shipping time, you're likely to send out a product review email, 7 to 10 days after they've ordered the product. And also obviously allowing time for them to use the product. If you offer professional services, you may email your client with a link to your preferred platform once that service has been carried out. So let's say, for example, if I've just finished my tax return, if I was an accountant and I've just finished, each time I'm finishing a client's tax return for the year, I can trigger a review email to go out seeking them to complete that review based on that experience I've just had. Or maybe you own a beauty salon or hair salon. You may look to text your clients at the end of each day, or perhaps even the next day, asking them to complete the review based on the treatment that they just received. So in that scenario, it's almost immediate. We might let them let it go for an hour or two or half a day, and then we're sending them that text to click through to the platform where you're wanting them to submit that review. Now, something to consider is the timing of your request for that review. So I've just touched on that with those above examples, but I just wanted to dive into a different example. And that's something that I experienced when I was helping a travel client with their marketing, whereby I identified they were a travel agent, if you like. So they sold travel, quite a big entity where they would receive phone calls and emails and online bookings. And we identified that, yes, they are the agent. They're selling on behalf of the end supplier. So in this case, I say a hotel. So it was important that we actually got the customer review not long after that booking experience was made, as opposed to after the travel was completed. And you might say, why? Well, as they act as a booking agent, they can only directly influence that specific part of the holiday experience. They are unable to influence the experience at the hotel, or if it was a tour or an attraction. Once that customer makes that, shows up at reception, walks into the hotel room, steps into the restaurant, jumps on that tour, the booking agent cannot control any of that. So it's important that the booking agent, to get genuine feedback on the part that they paid the biggest impact on, they need to send out that review not long after that booking is made. So it's very important that the travel agent does know which suppliers are providing a poor experience, so they can then obviously choose whether they want to continue to sell them or not. The agent wants to be rated on the customer experience of them delivering that booking process. So it was with this in mind that we amended the review process timeline so that customers were invited to leave a review based on their booking experience. So let's say if they rang in today, they made their booking today, then they would be invited either later that day or the next day to then rate that booking experience. And then a second review was undertaken following their full holiday. So they go on their holiday, they came back, and then we would send out a customer survey and collect data that enabled us to determine which suppliers, meaning hotel or a tour operator or an attraction, was supplying and delivering on, to our customers' expectations. And if they weren't, then if we gathered sufficient data over time, we were able to go back to those suppliers and say, hey, out of, let's say 100 bookings, we've had 65% of those complain, and this is what they're complaining about. You've got the evidence and the numbers to be able to bring that up with your suppliers. But it's then not impacting on your customer's experience with you as the agent. So it's very important that when you think about what role you play in that customer experience, when would be the best time for you to seek that review? Look, I also wanted to touch on when you pull together your invitation to send out to your customer, what is it that you should consider? And I've got 4 key points. I think point 1 is you need to make it as short and concise as possible. As I've already said, people are busy, and whilst people can get excited about leaving reviews, it can actually overwhelm other people. So just make it as short and concise as possible. You want to make sure it is on brand. So think about your tone of voice with your wording, your branding colors, the visuals, and is it suitable for the delivery channel? So are you sending it via email versus text, as an example? Be very clear about what you're asking for. And top tip, and I don't see many businesses doing this, but I highly recommend you do this, is provide examples of what other customers have said. Now, giving your customer examples of other reviews will help them work out what they can say and how they can say it. For a lot of people, we're very nervous about writing. We're not, Pulitzer-worthy writers. So if you can give your customers some confidence on what to write, how to write it, it's going to give them that confidence to be able to write a review for you and not just skim over it, delete the email, delete the text, or ignore it. You can also look to include some questions that will prompt their thoughts and trigger ideas on what they can write about to give you a valuable review. Now, if you hang in there to the end, I've actually got a cheat sheet you're able to take, and I'll give you the instructions on where you can go to get that. All right, so that's the collection. That's you inviting your customer in to collect the review. The second component of having an effective review program is the management. So reviews will require someone within the team to manage them, whether that's directly or via a tool such as Podium. And there's other tools out there like Podium. I've had a bit to do with that particular platform, and it is very good. You want to ensure that the reviews are being read, of course. You've got to acknowledge them, and where appropriate, also reply to them. Now, these reviews are a fantastic way to obtain feedback, and it is up to us as the business owner or the person assigned to managing reviews to respectfully respond to both positive and negative reviews. So when dealing with negative reviews, it doesn't matter how great a business is, there are going to be times when a product or a service or a person leaves a customer dissatisfied, and this may unfortunately lead to a negative review. So should you respond to them? Absolutely, indeed you should. In fact, the negative ones are the ones you really do need to respond to. Here's a quote that I found when doing some research on reviews, and it comes from reviews.io. When it comes to responding to negative feedback, it's imperative to get it right. A huge 69% of customers who get an inadequate response to their review say they won't shop or use that business anymore. So it's definitely worth learning how to get those replies spot on. And just starting to acknowledge and respond to them is a very good step one. So the team at reviews.io IO have put together 7 rules for responding to negative reviews. And I have to say, I agree with each of them. So I thought I'd share them here with you today. Rule number 1 is say thank you. If they didn't tell you about their experience, how would you know? So by starting with a simple thank you for your review, acknowledges that you appreciate the constructive feedback, and it also demonstrates that you're prepared to admit to your mistakes. Essentially, you're not going to take the high road. Rule number 2 is to apologize. Sorry can go a long way. It's important to remember that your customers are not the enemy and are unlikely to have left you a negative review for no reason at all. So whatever their feedback and whether you agree or not, you should apologize for the upset it caused. Do this sincerely and understandingly as a way of winning your disgruntled customer over before you take any steps towards tackling the issue at hand. It really is acknowledging that whether it's true or not, but in their mind, they've had that negative experience. So acknowledge that. Then rule number 3 is to personalize your response. So yes, you might have some templated responses that you can use, but they really should act as, I guess, a starting point. And you want to then make sure that you are personalizing it for their particular situation. Nothing frustrates a customer or a potential customer more than reading, just a generic canned response. Instead of getting a response out quickly as possible, take the time to fully understand the customer's issue. And this may mean having to go and talk to a team member or team members in other areas. You might even have to go through that customer journey yourself and just see where you might find that they're correct in that there are some bumps in the road that you need to iron out. So in your response, reply back to the specifics that they've mentioned in their initial review, and combined with your findings, then try to explain the reason for the issue. All of this is going to help calm a very frustrated reviewer. Okay, rule number 4 is to offer a solution. So in an ideal world, you provide every negative reviewer with a solution to their problem. Not always possible, but it should be a rule you try to stick to. A solution can be in the form of a refund or return, or perhaps just some advice about the product service that caused the problem. So by providing that solution, you're literally turning that negative into a positive experience, and it can do a lot to save the relationship. And you might even find that they'll either remove or update that customer review to be a more positive one. Rule number 5 is to reiterate your goal as a business. So once you've thanked them, you've apologized, and you've done your best to solve the problem, it's good to reiterate your business's vision to the customer so that they know that it's not normal for a negative experience to happen. So as an example, if you're a tourism operator, your goal might be to provide the most educational, enjoyable, and valuable experience for your guests. So in this case, you might respond to a complaint. Let's say the complaint was about being picked up later than they were initially told for the commencement of their tour. So it might be something like, "Dear Mr. Malone, I'm sorry to read your disappointment in our later than advised collection time for your tour with us. I've spoken with our tour guide and they have informed me that this was due to a last-minute pickup that was added to the tour for that day, resulting in your pickup time being pushed back. We appreciate that vacation time is precious and we sincerely apologise that we were unable to advise you about our later collection time. As a proud tourism operator with the goal of exceeding our guests' expectations in every way and every time, we are now reviewing our processes to see if we can address this issue moving forward." Rule number 6, offer a follow-up. So before you sign off, reiterate the importance of customer satisfaction to your business by offering to discuss the matter further. So if you feel it's not resolved or that they're not going to be satisfied, or if you just want to make this a standard, there's no harm in that. You could add something along the lines of, and it does depend how you're responding, whether you've managed to get the email or phone number and you're communicating through that channel, or you're trying to get that from them from within, say, a Google review. It could be something along the lines of, I have emailed you with my contact details if you would like to discuss this matter further. So it's leaving open and handing the ball, I guess, or the baton back to them, that you've addressed it, but you're also open to having more discussion if they feel that their review and their complaint has not been addressed adequately. Rule number 7 is avoid the C word. So the final rule is more of a don't than a do. So in general, the C word, being compensation, doesn't need to be mentioned in any review response. Mentioning the word compensation can open the floodgates around the trust and bribery aspect. So it could also set this as a standard procedure for your company, which you definitely do not want. So anything that may, in any communication that may involve the C word being compensation, keep that between communication between yourself and the person who's made the complaint or the negative review, and keep it out of the review platform. So if you feel compelled to offer that compensation, make sure you do this via that private email or a call. All right, so the third component to running an effective review program, after you've done step 1 being the collection, and then step 2 being management, you then want to have a look at how you can promote. Like, how do you take advantage of the fact that you've got all these reviews? And if you're doing a great job, the majority of them will be great reviews. So once you have your system in place to collect those reviews, you want to make sure you're maximizing those across your various channels. So you can do this by sharing those amazing, they essentially are testimonials across platforms and collateral. So think about putting them on your website, sharing them on your social media channels. You can even add them to your invoices, to your receipts, to your email signature, to your company presentations, to your promotional flyers. I always include them in my proposals that I send out to potential clients. It just gives you a third-party review of your services, and I think it just strengthens a company's credibility. So they have the power to gain that trust, and they encourage people to interact with the business, which is so important because it gives you essentially free feedback. And by having that customer interaction, it's ultimately going to lead to an improved customer experience, which leads to improved profits for your business. So whether you're looking for a restaurant for date night or buying a new software solution for your business, as a customer, the opinion of those who have already made that decision matters. Why did they like it? What did they dislike? Would they make that same choice again if they were able to do it over again? And so there is power in customer reviews for both the consumer and the business. So for the consumer, they get insights from previous buyers that can confirm or deny their positive and negative feelings towards that product, that service, that experience. And for us as business owners, positive reviews act as a form of advocacy, and negative reviews provide feedback on what we can do to improve our businesses. Now, if you're ready to be proactive in seeking reviews, but you're a little stuck on how best to ask for them, I've got a free bonus for you. It's an email template, an example that you can use as a guide for how you can create the perfect customer review request or invitation for your business. So you can use this example to gain that customer trust, encourage people to interact with your business, and to provide that invaluable feedback about your business. Now, to get yours, you can head to whatmattersmarketing.com/podcast and then click on episode 6 and you'll see the link to the free download there. Thanks for joining in. Catch up again soon.
Thanks for listening to the What Matters Marketing Show. You can support the podcast by hitting follow or leaving a review. For more great marketing information to help build your business and a life that you love, head to whatmattersmarketing.com.